Welcome to the Pampered Thoughts podcast, where we are inspiring and encouraging women to love themselves as they are without shame or guilt, focusing on topics such as self-love, marriage and family, balance in life and business, and all things woman. Every week, we'll share inspirational topics that focus on helping you to overcome your struggles and limitations with lack of identity, low self-esteem, self-love, confidence, and so much more. I'm your host, Veronica, a wife, mom, speaker, entrepreneur, and more importantly, a daughter of the King. Hey, y'all. Welcome to today's episode of the Pampered Thoughts podcast. I am your host, Veronica, and I hope you all have been having a grand and pampered week. I hope that you've been pampering yourself, meaning that you've been taking extra care and attention to your mind, your body, your soul. We have come upon another week. And I'm so grateful. I'm thankful for another day, another time to refocus, to reevaluate, to just really do things over in a new light with a new mind and just new vision. If you're new to the Pamper Thoughts podcast, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you've been listening every Thursday, I truly, truly appreciate you. I'm so thankful for the support that I've been receiving, for those of you that have been listening every week and taking the time out of your day. I don't take that lightly, and I thank you all for that. And so if you haven't done so already, take a couple of minutes to subscribe, to share the show, to rate, review, and also follow Pampered Thoughts Podcast on Instagram and Facebook at Pampered Thoughts, and on Twitter at I Am Pampered. I hope to share a lot more. There's been a lot of things that I've been kind of dealing with personally, and I hope to begin to share a lot more on my social media to encourage you, to empower you, to motivate you, to inspire you into being the best that you can be, into loving yourself, loving your friends, your family, and increasing your love of the Most High. Yeah, so just go and follow me on Pampered Thoughts Podcast on the social media platforms. And now, for our topic at hand today, I entitled this topic, Get Out of Your Own Way. And the reason I titled it Get Out of Your Own Way is because I had one of these experiences myself. As I told y'all, this is pretty much my storybook and some of the experiences that I've gone through. I know that if I'm going through some of these things, that you all may be going through them too. And my reason for titling this episode Get Out of Your Own Way is because I found myself getting in my own way. As you all know, I've said it before that I have been a serial entrepreneur, and I've done a lot of different businesses, some that were successful, some that were not so successful. But one of the businesses that has been successful for me has been my travel business. I started my travel business in 2017, and I was on go. I love to travel. I've always traveled, even as a young girl. My parents always took me on some type of trip every year for summer, and I just grew to love traveling. And so a travel business for me was really a no-brainer. I didn't really necessarily have to think long about it. I only thought long about it because of me trying other businesses that weren't successful for me. And so this travel business, when it was presented to me, I knew it was something that I wanted to do. It just took a little time for me to get over that my other businesses failed mindset and just get started. And lo and behold, once I got started, within a year's time, I became a director in my business. And that means that you have 100 people in your organization. And I was ecstatic. I still am ecstatic today because it was something that I had never achieved in any of my other businesses. But what happened to me once I hit that directorship position? Like what you've heard so far? Great. Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you so much for your support. Now back to the show. I began to look at the responsibility. The Bible says that to whom much is given, much is required. There's a greater responsibility once you reach a level of leadership. And what happened to me was I began to pull away, not because of the responsibility, not because of me being a leader, because I am a leader even as a pastor with my husband. I know that I can be a leader. But what happened to me was that I actually became fearful of the success, fearful of the unknown. And I drew back. I didn't know why at the time. I didn't know what was going on. But in hindsight, looking back now, I saw that it was a fear of success. It wasn't necessarily failure, but a fear of the unknown. What's next now? I've worked so hard to get to this point in my life, but what's next? And to have people contact me that I really didn't know, to have people who would see me out and they would say, "Hey, Director Scurry, I've been following you." That was fearful to me. Because as you know, I'm a private person. For those of you who've listened, you know that I'm a private person. I'm a quiet person. And those who know me personally know that I'm a quiet person and I pretty much stay to myself. But this new season of my life caused me to get in my own way. So I began to back away and I began to go through things mentally, internally that I didn't really understand because I didn't know what was next. I didn't know, even though there wasn't anything that had to change, I just was unsure of what was next, what was going to be required of me at this point in my life. And I became fearful of that success because keep in mind, none of my businesses before that had actually been successful, except my cake business that I was doing. And that was fine. I love decorating cakes, but the other businesses that I've had in regards to multi-level marketing, I never really got anywhere in those businesses. But this particular business took off. It's something that I love. It's something that I enjoy traveling with my mom. That's my travel buddy. And I was doing the business. My team was growing. My organization was growing. Things were working out and I didn't know what to do. In hindsight, looking back, I saw that that was a fear of success, a fear of the unknown. Yes, sometimes things may look fearful to you, things may look scary to you, but what I want to encourage you today is to don't self-sabotage yourself. That was what I did. I sabotaged myself because I began to back away from the business. I began to not really do some of the things that I was doing to build my business. I began to kind of slow down with doing those things. Once my father got sick last year, that was in 2018 when I became a director in my business. But once my father got sick in 2019, and I focused on my father, but that was sort of the over the cliff or the tipping point that caused me to stop everything totally because now I was in a grieving stage of my life. And yes, I'm still going through some of those emotions in regards to what's happened with my father. But these past 2 years, for me personally, I've grown in learning myself. I've grown in understanding why I've acted in certain ways. And this is how the Pampered Thoughts podcast was actually born. This is how my life coaching business was born, is because of the growth that I've gone through, experiencing rejection, experiencing grief, experiencing not understanding my purpose, experiencing things that were unknown for me, a lack of identity, self-doubt, low self-esteem. I've grown through the years and I've begun to understand how I can better act in certain situations. I would say I stopped altogether of doing my travel business, especially now with Corona going around. I haven't been traveling anywhere. A lot of people haven't been traveling, but some have actually started to start back traveling. I had received words from the Most High. He showed me favor in my business. And I received words that told me that he would give me favor, that told me that my business would flourish. And my business was flourishing. I did have favor in my business. And for me to stop like that, it was something that I struggled with. So these past 2 years, even though I hadn't been really working my business, I still struggled with, okay, I need to get back to it. I need to get back focused. I need to do this. And then when I would try to get back into it, it just wasn't there. It didn't seem like the passion was there. And it's almost as if I needed to learn what that was holding me back. And so this past week is something that this is what I learned. And so that's why I'm sharing it with you today, is that I had really gotten into my own way. I had sabotaged what good was happening in my life with one of my businesses. I was successful and I sabotaged myself by, I won't say quitting, because I didn't quit the business. I still had the business. I still invested in the business. I still did what I needed to do, but I began to stop working. And one thing that I'm even thankful of is that even in those 2 years that I didn't work the business, I still was receiving income from it. I hadn't worked it, but I was still receiving income from it every month, still receiving income. And so that shows the blessing of the Most High. That shows, even for those of you that may be looking for something for passive income or residual income, when you do something once and you continue to be paid over and over and over again for it, that's what was actually happening to me. All of the years that I tried to get into business to get the residual income, that was literally happening to me. I wasn't working my business for 2 years, but I was still being paid, and I'm still being paid today. And so I made the decision, and I spoke with my business partner on yesterday and said, I'm coming back. I'm ready. I'm ready to get back into it. I'm ready to get started again. My mindset did a complete shift. I've done it before, and there's so many people that I can help through this that I need to get back into it. And the Father gave me a dream the night before last that I was getting back into the business and it was go time. And so I called her yesterday and I said, I'm ready to go. My mind is a lot clearer. I'm more focused, and I know what happened before when I pulled back. And now that I have that understanding, I know how to move forward. And so I want to encourage you all today that if you are going through something in your life and you are feeling like you don't know what to do, if there's something that's holding you back, there's a fear that you're feeling, look at the signs that may show you that you're sabotaging yourself. There's a lot of signs, but a couple of things I want to share with you is one of the things was procrastination. If you find yourself doing other things that have no business or they don't benefit what your purpose is or what you're working towards, whether that's in your relationships, whether that's in your business or your job, your friendships, whatever it is, if you're procrastinating to get things done, let's say you have a big project at work and you have a deadline by such and such time, maybe in a month or so or in a week, and you find yourself procrastinating, what's causing you to procrastinate? Stop and think about, what is it that's keeping you from moving forward and doing what it is you need to do? Is it because you don't feel competent enough? Is it because you lack self-esteem and you don't think that you're able to do it? Self-doubt is another one. Self-doubt can cause you to procrastinate because you don't feel like your talents, you don't feel like your gifts, you don't feel like your abilities will help you to complete the job at hand or the task at hand. When you find yourself procrastinating, stop and think about why you're procrastinating. What's behind the procrastination? All in all, everything ends up into fear. But what is the fear of? Is it a fear of success? Is it a fear of failure? Are you afraid that if you try, you're going to fail? A lot of people make mistakes. A lot of people fail at different things. There's no millionaire or no billionaire in this earth, or there's no successful person in this earth that will tell you that they never failed and that they went through life and they made it and they hit their target without some failure. So what is that fear that's holding you back? What is it that's keeping you in your own way? And procrastination, low self-esteem, self-doubt are some of those things that can do that. You may have imposter syndrome where you feel like your gifts and your talents cause you to be a fraud because you feel like you're not good enough. You feel like you don't deserve success. You feel like you shouldn't have a business. You feel like you shouldn't go back to school. You shouldn't be a parent. You shouldn't be a wife. These things are imposter syndromes. What is it that's causing you to feel this way? You think everybody else deserves success except for you. You think everybody else deserves to fulfill their dreams and their goals except for you. What is it that's causing you to feel this way? So what you do to combat that is you remind yourself every day that you too can be successful. You can have a business. You can go back to school. You can be a good parent. You can be a good wife. You can be a good daughter, a good sister, a good whatever it is. You have to remind yourself every day that I can do this. I deserve it just as much as anybody else. And I said this last time in the last episode, you have what it takes. The Father put every gift that you need to fulfill your purpose. He put those gifts in you from your birth. When He created you fearfully and wonderfully, He put every gift that you need to fulfill your purpose in this earth from the beginning. And you have to begin to take His word over others' word. Some people may find themselves as a way of sabotaging themselves by overeating, or they may get wasted. And what I mean by that is they may drink too much alcohol or substance abuse, binge eating. A lot of these things can be in excess, and it's a way to sabotage yourself. I know there's people who, when they get depressed, they go to overeating. They eat any and every bad thing that they can. I used to be one of them. When I would try to work on my weight loss goals and trying to lose weight, if I messed up on a day, I was like, okay, well, bump it. I'm going to go ahead and keep eating whatever I want to eat when I want to eat it. And I was sabotaging my own weight loss success. Are you trying to lose weight? Are you trying to get healthier? We have to begin to take a step back, reevaluate what it is we're trying to do, what goals are we trying to make as it relates to your business, as it relates to your mind, your body, your soul, spiritually. How are you sabotaging yourself spiritually? Are you lacking in faith? When the Father says that you can do all things through Yeshua, Christ, who strengthens you, are you still walking in fear saying, I can't do that? Your words have power. There is the power of life and death in the tongue. How are you using your tongue? Are you speaking life or are you speaking death? When you say, I can't, you're going completely against what the Bible says when He says that you can do all things through Yeshua, through Christ who strengthens you. So rearrange how you're talking. What is it you're talking about? Are you speaking negative when you're around others? Are you talking about other people? Are you gossiping, backbiting? What are these things that you're doing with your tongue? What type of words are you setting out into the atmosphere? The Father didn't say that there's power of life and death in the tongue just to say it. He said it because those things that we speak out of our mouth begin to come true. And so are you speaking life into your business? Are you speaking life into your children, into your husband, into your family, into your friendships? Are you speaking life and not death? When you say, I can't do this, or you can't do that, or this will never happen, that will never happen. When you begin to speak like that, it automatically shows where your mindset is at. And so you have to begin to train your mindset, reassess things and mentally so that you're able to begin to speak life into your situation. Because the Bible says that as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So what you're thinking about is going to flow from out of your mouth. The way you feel about yourself is going to flow from out of your mouth. It's going to even flow in your actions, the things that you do. Like I said, overindulgent, whether you're overeating, you're drinking alcohol excessively, or you're not taking care of yourself in the way that you should. All of those things come from what you're thinking and how you feel about yourself. And when I created the Pampered Thoughts podcast, and the Father gave me the idea of the pampered thoughts, it's because pampered means to take extreme care and attention. I chose pampered thoughts because we have to take extreme care and attention of our minds. The way we think about ourselves and others reflects in how we take care of our bodies and how we take care of our souls and others. I hope to encourage you today that you begin to look at ways of how to not sabotage yourself, to get back focused of what it is you're supposed to be doing. Each and every one of us were created with a purpose and for a purpose. And in order for us to fulfill that purpose, we have to make sure that we're doing what's necessary to fulfill that purpose. And so we need to get back focused. Get back focused into what it is you're supposed to be doing. What is your purpose? What is your calling? And if you don't know what that is, and you might need guidance with that, reach out to me. Pray and ask the Father. He created you. He created you for a purpose, and every gift that you have on the inside of you, like I said in my last episode, it's already on the inside of you. And so we have to begin to look at ways of how we're sabotaging ourselves so that we can make sure we don't get caught in that trap. In one of my previous episodes, I talked about the comparison trap. Comparison can be another way we sabotage ourselves because we begin to look at others' lives and we begin to look at how successful they are, how they may be the most bomb parent with the best kids in the world, or they may have what looks to appear to be the best relationship, or they may have so many things going on in their life, and you can begin to compare yourself to that. And when you begin to compare yourself to that, a lot of times you begin to look down upon yourself and what you can do. You begin to feel bad and stop believing in yourself because you see that things look different for you. So when we begin to compare ourselves to others, we can compare in a way that we're looking to motivate ourselves and to encourage ourselves, but not in a way to feel bad about ourselves or to stop believing in ourselves. No, that's not what we do when we go in comparison. And we also don't want to compare ourselves to become prideful, to think that we're better than others. Because as I said in my don't get caught in the comparison trap, you have two of the opposite ends. You can either become depressed and sad and down on yourself, or you can begin to think too highly of yourself, where you begin to look down on others and you become prideful and arrogant. You have to have balance. So if you're looking to compare yourself, look for the reasons to motivate, to encourage yourself, or to push yourself, or to inspire yourself. Find someone who may be in the same field that you're in and look to them as a form of inspiration that I can do that too. You may not do the same exact thing or operate in the same exact way as they will, but you can find people that would inspire you and encourage you to be better about yourself. If you always find yourself looking down on yourself when you're looking at others, then that's not the route that you want to take. You want to avoid looking at others' life if it's going to make you look down on yourself. And so you want to begin to evaluate what's causing you to self-sabotage. You want to get out of your own way because the Father has so much in store for you. He has so much that He desires to do in and through you that you have to get out of your own way. That was one of the conclusions that I came to this week, is that I have to get out of my own way. When the Father gave me that dream and when I looked at the words that I had received about my business and being successful and Him giving me favor and seeing what He had done in my life, I had to get out of my own way. I began to realize that I was sabotaging myself. I was fearful of the success that I was receiving because I had never received it before. I was fearful of the unknown because I didn't know what to expect to get into this position in my business. And so when you come to that realization about yourself and about what's causing you to be fearful, that's making you to sabotage yourself, then you can find better ways to work on that. Whatever is causing you to act or react negatively, begin to switch it over to the positive and begin to operate more positively. And so I hope that this encouraged you today. I hope that you were able to get some tidbits from this, that this helped you to think more in a way that you begin to take care of your mind, your body, your soul, that you take extra care and pay extra attention to what you're thinking, how you're treating yourself. For the Bible says that He wishes above all things that we may prosper and be in good health, even as our soul prospers. this is what I desire to do through the Pampered Thoughts podcast, is to help you align with your mind, your body, and soul, to get your spirit right with the Most High, to get your life right, your body right, all of these things that require us to be a whole woman. If you, like I said earlier, have not followed Pamper Thoughts Podcast, please go and follow on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you need help moving forward into that next step, into that next journey, if you are trying to figure out where to go and what to do, you know that you're struggling with some fears. You know that you're struggling with self-sabotage. You know that you're getting in your own way and that you're dealing with some things that you just don't know how to come out of it. Reach out to me. I'll leave my contact information in the show notes. I hope that you are encouraged. I hope that you have a blessed week. I pray that the Father blesses you tremendously, that He manifests Himself to you in your life, in your family's life like never before. I pray that you are encouraged, that you have a pampered and grand week. Until next time, stay pampered. Thanks for joining us this week on the Pampered Thoughts podcast. Be sure to visit us at www.pamperedthoughts.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Stitcher, or RSS, so you'll never miss a show. You can also check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Pampered Thoughts, and on Twitter at I Am Pampered. As always, subscribe to the show to catch a new episode every week. And if you found value in the show, please leave a rating on iTunes and tell a friend about us. We want to continue to bring you the episodes you love. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, stay pampered.